the code first approach. So we have just been done with all the Surendra, I already said you did not install it. I already shown in the classroom how to install it. That should be explicitly selected while you're installing. You did not do that. Yeah. So here, finally, when you run it, automatically the database is created, tables are created. We discussed on all these particular things yesterday. It has created a database with the name StoreDB. Under that, it created your tables. What are the tables? Categories table, products table, and basically these table names are taken up from the DB set properties in the context class. The DB set properties in the context class. All these things we have done it very clearly. Okay, fine. Now listen. I was telling about conventions in the last session. By default, some conventions are followed. Based on the conventions, the table names, the data types, all these things are set. We can change them. We'll see that. Before that, let me give you a picture about connection string also. I already shown you, I already explained to you in the previous classes. But one more time, what is it? The name of the connection string is exactly the same name of our context class. If the names are same, what did I say? You don't require to read them explicitly in the code. But in case you give a different name, in case if you give a different name, suppose if I change this name now as ConStr, now run this. Yeah, if you watch this, we have data in the tables and all, right? If you watch this, it is not going to load you any information at all. See, error. Exception occurred. Exception occurred. Are you clear? Why the exception occurred? Because my database name is StoreDB context. I'm sorry. My class name, context class name is StoreDB context. My context class name is StoreDB context, but my connection string name is ConStr. Both of them should match with each other. If they match with each other, only dynamically it will read. If that doesn't match, it doesn't read now. Okay. Tomorrow, in case, if at all you want to use your own name to the connection string, or to give a different name, in that scenario, what you require to do, come to StoreDB context. Watch. Define a constructor, public StoreDB context. You're defining a constructor. And from here, you're required to call your base class constructor. And for the base class constructor, you're required to pass the connection string name. You learned that in C#, remember? Base. You're calling the base class constructor. Basically, why you're calling that in your class, you don't have a parameterized constructor to pass it. What you have is only a default constructor. So from the default constructor, you're going to call the base class constructor and passing the connection string. And once you pass it, enough here, no need to write any logic. That's it. So once you do that, automatically it will read the connection string ConStr now. Okay, you can run and see now. It should work as expected. Check. Got it? Clear with connection string? So you can give your own name, guys, but if you give your name, you should read again like this. You require to call the base class constructor and pass the connection string. Next, database initialization strategies. The next topic is database initialization strategies. See, first time when you ran this project, NT framework has created the database tables and all these things now. Yes or not? To create, I'm sorry, to create the database and tables, NT framework adopts 3 different strategies. I repeat, to create the database and tables, entity framework adopts 3 different strategies. So what are the 3 different strategies it follows? The 3 different strategies it follows is like the first strategy, create database if not exists. Understood the meaning of it? What is the meaning? Create a database. Yesterday when we ran it, database is not existing, right? So it created the database now. So what we call it? Create database if not exists. Means if not existing, create of the database. If not existing, create of the database. That's what we call as create a database if not exists. So this is the first strategy what entity framework is going to adopt. Okay, now this is the first strategy what entity framework is going to adopt. What do you call it? Create a database if not exists. Okay, now understood my point? So this is the first strategy what entity framework is going to follow. Create a database if not exists. Okay, well, understand my point here. Actually, right now database is existing now. So because it is existing, it doesn't recreate the database again now. It doesn't recreate the database again. But sir, if I make any model changes now, if I add a new property in a model class, a new column should be added to the table now. Yes or not? For example, let me take you to category. In category, let us add a public bool status. Public bool status. So now you understood the category class is modified now. Now, when I try to run this application, I'll get an error. Why I'll get the error? I'll get an error telling you, array, the model targeting the database has been modified. The model has been modified now. Is it not going to recreate the database again? No, it doesn't. Why? The strategy name is create database if not exist. Existing or not. So that is the default strategy it adopts. That is the default strategy it adopts. You can read there. Louder, all of you, louder. Database was created. Since the database was created, it was modified now. So it's not allowing you now. Sir, you'll have a doubt now. Sir, how can I accept it now? How I can accept it? Really? Oh, good question mark here. Huh? How can I accept this basically? I want it. I want this. If that is the case, you have another strategy called as drop create database if model changes. Drop create database if model changes. Did you get my point? Did the model change or not? Now it will drop it and recreate the database. But be careful. You cannot do this in the production environment. If you do this in the production environment, all the data will be lost. This is only for development environment only. In the development, we basically follow this strategy. Say, when I'm developing, suddenly I was asked with a new change now. Array, in the development only, we think like, okay, this field should be added. This should be extra coming now. We make it, and based on that, it'll drop and recreate the database again for you. It'll drop and recreate the database again for you in this context. So that is what we call as drop create database if model changes. Third option is also, I'll show you practically. Okay, let us see that how to apply that strategy, sir. Sir, I applied this. Now I wanted to recreate my database now. I wanted to recreate my database. Are you clear? Okay, let us leave the question mark because the default value, if I don't leave a question mark, it is not null. And again, I need to modify the view for sending that particular thing. Let us leave it as a nullable, no issue. But what we want to see is it going to drop and recreate the database or not? Okay. In the storeDB context constructor, sorry, in the storeDB context constructor, you're required to set this property database dot set initializer. Database dot set initializer, and you're required to set the initializer new. The first strategy is, even though you don't set this applies, what is it? Create a database if not exists. Spelling mistake. You can see there. This is the default strategy, guys. Are you clear? It's basically a class. We need to create the instance of this class now. Second option, drop create a database if model changes. Drop create database if model changes. And all of you have carefully noticed it's a generic type. Angular braces. It is a generic type. So when you're creating the instance of it, here you're required to pass your context class name basically. What's your context class? StoreDB context, because the context class only contains the constant string to connect to database and all the information. So that is why you're required to pass it. What is the strategy? Drop create database if model change. Now model changed or not? Because the model got changed. Because the model got changed. Okay, see here why I put this question semicolon is, if I don't insert any values, no problem here. If I insert, status will not be sent with any value. I need to modify the UI again. Until then, just I put question mark. Or if I don't write question mark, no problem. But when you're inserting, problem will come. Why? It doesn't accept a null value. Okay, leave it. Let us not insert any record. Let us see whether the database is recreated or not. See, no error will come. Sir, no data. Why will a data present? You said drop create database. Nah. Database dropped. Sir, all the old data is lost. Yeah. All the old data is lost. Did you catch my point? That only I said you the danger. Tomorrow in your production environment, if you try this, complete database data will be removed of now. It's very dangerous. Okay. So now you can check in the database, guys. Store DB is recreated. Now the table will contain 4 columns. Which table? Categories table. Check. So guys, it has taken not null. Why not null? Because I have put a question mark there. I have put a question mark. Sorry, I did not put a question mark there. Suppose if at all I try to add a question mark here now. See, whenever I make a change in the model, I'm adding a question mark. Means it's a nullable. It is nullable. And also I'm adding another column here, like public string, something else about this particular category. Okay. Some comments. Gets it. Hey, just I'm adding you, that's all, something. Okay, I made a modification now. So because I made a modification, the database will be dropped and recreated again. refresh, store DB, tables, categories, columns, nullable, modified Z, comments. So did you understand drop create database if model changes now? This is what we call drop create database if model changes. Another option is there. What is the drop create database always? That's the worst one here. We generally, when do we use that particular thing? In the practice time, we just use that. What is it? Drop create database always. If I stop my application and run, database will be recreated, irrespective of changes. Irrespective of the changes, it will drop and recreate the database. Are you clear? Generally, in the starting days of the application development, you started your application development today, compulsory changes will be there. Or you did not anticipate this column is required. You created afterwards, you thought like, okay, this column is needed. So starting stages, we use this strategy. What is it? Drop, create, database always. So every time you stop your project and run means database is dropped and recreated. You stop it and run means database is dropped and recreated. Are you getting me? Okay, watch it. I'm making some changes here. Now, if I make this particular changes, the current strategy is, what is the current strategy? Drop create database if model changes. Correct now? Because the strategy is drop create database if model changes. Now we made a model change now. So compulsory the database will be dropped and recreated. Correct? Okay, run. Categories. It is recreating the database because you made a model change now. Come here, go to store DB, tables, categories. Now again, you'll find only your 3 columns. Check it out, right? And now I'm trying to insert some record into this, something like footwear. Something, click save. Okay, stop the application. Run again, you get your data back. Why? Database is created, but it is not going to be recreated because you did not make any model changes. Did you make any model change? No. That is why you're going to get back your data back again now. So database is recreated or not created? Not created now. First time created, second time not created. Why? No model change. But if I use this strategy, guys, which strategy? Drop create database always. Drop create database always. When I use this strategy, drop create database always, then guys, you observe, you notice this now. In this particular context, the database is the data is lost. Now I'm adding a record. I'm adding the record back again now. Okay. I'm adding the record. Fine. Now I stopped it. Again, if I run, I don't have the data. I don't have the data because what is the strategy used? Drop create database always. Did you understand me? So what is the first strategy? Create a database if not exist. Simple English here, create a database if not exist. Second, drop create database if model changes. Whenever there is a model change, it will drop and recreate the database. Third one, drop create database always. Drop create database always. See, in the starting days of your application, use this last strategy. What is it? Drop create database always. everything is streamlined here. You're in the mid of the application development. Then change the strategy to model changes. Model changes. Whenever model changes are there, only do it. Application is ready. You're in the final. At that time, change of to create database if not exists. Change it. Now I'm moving the application to production. I'm moving the application to production. When you are moving your application to production, null. Initializer null. Forgot it here. We have an option. If that is the case, no further changes are allowed. Okay. Here you're required to specify the context class and then say null. Store DB context null. No further changes will be allowed. I'm moving off my code into production. So now further changes should not be done. So what should I do? Set initializer store DB context. Are you clear? So you'll have a doubt here. Sir, my application is production. Everything is ready. But later on, after 6 months, client has asked me some changes. And in this process, I may need to add new columns in my tables now. How do I deal, sir? That is migrations. That's a different topic called as migrations. We'll discuss about it, guys. But first, did you understand the initialization strategies now? How many? 3. Read. It is based on database initialization strategies. And to specify that, guys, one thing understand, this is default. This is default. Even if I don't specify, this comes to you as a default option. Clear? Next. You read the description later, yeah, you know the meaning of it. You read the descriptions later. Create database if not exists. If you don't use anything, this is applied automatically. Are you clear? If you don't use anything, you require you can apply. But this one is default here. Don't use it. If you want to change, then change it. Understood now? If you change this, now make a model change and see the impact. Again, it won't recreate until there is a model change now. Again, a model change occurs, this one. But this one, model change present or not present, irrespective of it, every time it will change off. Okay, next. Are you clear? I said you're turning off the strategies now. Got it or not? So going forward, it doesn't recreate the database or create the database. That nothing this will happen. Why? It's in production. It is in production. So how to manage future changes? I will talk in the next classes. Okay. Next. Conventions are a set of default rules which automatically configure a conceptual model based on our domain classes when working with code first approach. Alright, this one yesterday I given the introduction to you. Conventions. I talked about it yesterday already. As you have seen on a previous example, EF API configured primary keys, foreign keys, relationships, and column data types, etc. from the domain classes without any. I did not tell anything here without me telling anything. It done everything automatically now. This is because of the EF code first conventions. If they are followed in domain classes, then the database schema will be configured based on the conventions. These EF6 code first conventions are defined in system.data.entity.modelConfigurations.conventions namespace. Okay. The following table lists the default code first conventions. The first schema. What is schema? Schema in the sense, listen, basically, like for every user, a user can create a database now. I have a user account here. I can create a database. So for every user, what it will do is it will maintain some space called as schema. It will maintain some space called as schema. Now under that schema, you are going to create a database. Under that schema, you are going to create a database. Understand? Schema is like your land. In that land, you are building a house. You can build one house or two houses or three houses here based on the size of the land now. Yes or not? Schema is like your land now. Now under that you're building a house. Inside the house, you have rooms and all. These are like your objects in the database now. Got it or not? So basically, what I'm trying to tell you is, for every user, there will be a schema. SA is a user. SA has a schema. Under that, you can create any number of databases. So by default, your database will be created under the schema associated with the user you're connecting with. You're connecting with which user account? SA. So your database is created under SA schema now. Are you clear? Okay, under SA schema. You know this DBO? You see this before every table, your database. What is the name of it? What is the full form? Database owner. Database owner. It is going to be created under the database owner's schema. Under the database owner's schema. Are you clear? Did you learn about granting and revoking? Or if you learned about grant and revoke, suppose there is another user. I granted a permission for that user to create a database in my, to create a table in my database, And did you notice it? If you try like that, it won't show DBO. It will show you the name of that user. It won't show you DBO. What will show you? The name of that user. Suppose, SA. I have a user account called Raju. SA is given a permission to Raju user for creating a table under his database, to create a table under his database. I went to his database, I created one table, but I logged in with my credentials here. I didn't log in SA credentials. I logged in with my credentials, and with a permission to create a table, I created a table. Tomorrow, if you go and observe it, it won't show you dbo.table name. It will show you Raju.table name. So DBO indicates like the owner of this particular table is the owner of the database. The owner of this table is a owner of the database now. Both are same only. Are you clear? Okay, so that's what. By default, DF creates all the database objects in the DBO schema. That is the owner's schema, it will create you. Simply speaking, you connected as SA now? Yes or not? So the database is created under SA schema now. You can build a house in your property or not someone's property. Nah? Same concept here, that's all. Next, table name. The table name will be entity class name plus yes. Entity class name plus yes. EF will create a database table with the entity class name suffixed by yes. For example, student domain class entity would map to students table. Mostly, it uses the name of the properties we defined to refer the tables in context class. Did you understand the last point? It will use the properties we define in the context class. It uses the names of the properties we defined to refer the tables. Not defined, we defined to refer the tables in context class. See, in the context class, you refer to the tables like this now. So that's why your table name is products and categories. Pluralization, yeah, simply pluralization. Primary key. Yesterday I said you this already. Read it. Second option. Both the two things I shown you. One table I given category ID, one table I given ID. Tomorrow, if at all, come to category ID here. This is not category ID. Something like cat ID. Are you clear? So now the convention is not satisfied now. It will add you a column with the name called ID again. It will add you a column with the name called ID again. Who will add, sir? Entity framework will add you. Entity framework will add you a column with the name ID in your table again. So that's way. Either it should be entity name ID or ID. Any of these particular things. Okay. EF will create a primary key column of the property name ID or entity class name ID. Case insensitive, not case sensitive. Foreign key. Stop it. Entity framework will look for a property with the same name as the principal entity primary key name. What is the principal entity or category? What is the primary key name? So in the child table, it will look for a property with the name called category ID now. Are you clear? Can it find? Yes, we added. We added, guys. If you don't add this, what happens, you know? If you don't add this, entity framework will add you the column. What is the name? Category underscore category ID. And you understand? What is the name? Category underscore category ID. What is that, sir? Navigation property name underscore the principal ID column name now. What is your navigation property name? See there, category underscore the parent table's primary key column. What is that? Category ID. So what is the column name now? Category underscore category ID. If you're okay, fine. No, sir, I don't want it like this. Then explicitly. Okay, now watch. By default, entity framework look for a foreign key property with same name as principal entity primary key name. Principal in the sense parent here. Principal in the sense parent. Okay. If you're confused with that word, I will change it. What? Parent entity primary key name. If the foreign key property does not exist, then EF creates a foreign key column in the table with dependent navigation property name, category underscore. I'll change this. Parent entity primary key property name. For example, EMP will create your category underscore category foreign key column in products table if the product entity does not contain a foreign key property. Is it clear? Yes or not? So that is what. This is how entity framework is going to create you the foreign key. Null columns. All reference types are null columns now. And nullable value types. String, nullable of int, or all these are nullable columns. Morning only shown with question mark, without question mark to you. Reference keys are always nullable. Reference, sorry. Reference types are always nullable. But coming to value types are by default not null. If you put a question mark, null. Not null column. For all the non-nullable value types, it will be not null. It will be not null. Sir, what about reference types? Sir, reference types are by default nullable. Na? I want not null. I want not null. That only we'll learn now. Okay, DB column order. In what order you define, in the same order it will be created. But primary key column will always move to the last. So tomorrow, when you're adding the properties here, the primary key property you define in the middle of the list. But that will go to first column. Remaining all columns will be in the same order. They won't change. Remaining all columns will be in the same order. Say right now, suppose if I put this category ID in the middle, it will be in the middle only now. But if I'll put ID in the middle, that'll go to top automatically. Next. By default, every property will have a column in the table. But if you want any column, any property, and that should not have a column in the table, you're required to decorate it with a not mapped attribute. Did you understand? What I'm telling is, look, in category, let me add the status column, public, bool, status. But I don't want an associated column in the table. I want it only in the front end. I don't want in the back end. Then I should decorate it. What? Not mapped. Understood? That is only what it is telling you. Clear? Yesterday I already shown you. Cascade rules are already automatically applied for you. For delete, it applied on delete cascade. For update, it applied on delete no action. On delete, no action. Cascade rules are automatically enabled. Okay. For delete, it will apply on delete cascade and on update cascade. On delete cascade, on update cascade. Okay. For update, sorry, I'm saying wrong. For delete, it will apply on delete cascade. For update, it will apply on update no action. SP underscore help, I shown you all these things yesterday already. Just go and use that SP underscore help table name. You'll find all the information there. Your query. SP underscore help products. Means if you delete from the parent, it will delete from the child. But if you try to update from the parent, it won't allow you. When child records are there, updating is possible. But when child records are there, deleting is possible. Why? If you delete, it will delete from the child table also. You learned about the cascade rules in your SQL classes. So the same rules will apply here. But for delete, cascade rule will apply. For update, no action rule will apply. Okay. So these are all the default code first conventions now. And some conventions regarding data types also. Some conventions regarding data types also. Louder, yaar. What do you have in the mouth? How many times I should tell you? See there, int is int. String, you saw that yesterday. This also is shown here. We not take float, but if you take float, it will be real. Byte array. We saw this already. We did not use date time is date time. We saw this. We did not try byte, long, double. Byte is tiny int, short is small int, long is big int. You have all this equivalent data types in C# and SQL Server, guys. In SQL Server, tiny int, 1 byte, equivalent to byte in C#. Short int, 2 bytes, equivalent to short in C#. Int, 4 bytes, equivalent to int. Big int, 8 bytes, equivalent to long in C#. Double. If you use a double, it will be float there. But a float will be real. Double will be float. Char, S byte, object. Don't use these three. No mapping. Am I clear? Yesterday I shown all these things to you already. Now read data annotations. To override default conventions in EF6 and EF core. To override the default conventions, the data annotations available for you. Using that, we can override the default conventions now. Data annotations are provided in EF6 and EF core under the namespace system.componentModel.data annotations. You know this already? One more. Data annotations dot schema. One more is there. First one we already learned. What comes there? Data type. Required. We know the required data type. Display. All those things will come. We have something new in annotations.schema namespace. These attributes can be used in entity framework as well as ASP.NET MVC data controls. Yeah, we know that. We already applied on data controls. We already applied on. Actually, we started from there only and we discussed like later we'll see this again for the second time with entity framework. Yes. First one. Data annotations namespace. These are the attributes key. Can be applied to a property to specify the key property in an entity and make this corresponding column the primary key. What is that? I already said you here, I want to give my column name as cat ID. So this is not taken as a primary key now, but I want to. You want? Yes. Then use key. That's your primary key now. You're telling what is your primary key now. Understood? Next. Actually, in SQL Server, yeah, there's a data type called as row version. There is a data type called as row version. What is the row version? How do you recognize row changes? Today a row is created. Is this row modified or not? Did you understand my question? You inserted a record here. A row is there. Tomorrow updates can be done in the row now. How do you know rows are updates are done or not? For every table, you never used it, but option is there. How, sir? Add a column called as row version. Add a column with a data type called as row version. Data type name itself is row version. Okay, if I add a column with a data type called row version, what is going to happen, it will maintain the tracking of that particular row. See, initially, first time you insert a record, 0. You made a change, 1. You made again a change, 2. Means 100 changes are done on this row till now. I can see all those things in the row version now. If row version is 100, what it indicates? After creating this row, 100 times changes are done on this row. Are you clearer or not? So if at all you want a row version, then you're required to use this attribute called as timestamp. When you use a timestamp, it will create you a row version in the database. Next, you know this. You know this already. No need of explaining this particular thing. The minimum length you want, maximum length you want, string length you want. So what is the difference between minimum length, maximum length? Minimum length 3 means minimum 3 characters. Maximum length 10 means maximum 10. But string length 50 means 1 to 50. String length 50 means 1 to 50. Min length 3 means minimum 3, afterwards no limit. Max length 10 means 1 to 10. But string length means the maximum size you can go. String length, if I give 50, it is going to allow you nvarchar 50, that is equivalent to string length. That is equivalent to the string length. Basically, you can apply this on strings only. You can apply these on strings only. On strings only, you can apply this. You cannot apply this on the other types, basically. Next, second one, schema. You can tell your own table name, guys. I don't want to get the cat table name as categories. What do you want? Category I want. This is my table name. This is my table name. I can tell my own column name. I can tell my own column name. I want the column here to be as. Not category name now. What is the name? C name. I want to create an index on this. In SQL Server, yesterday I said you, when you add a primary key, it will create you unique clustered index. If you add a unique key, it will add you a unique non-clustered index. Apart from that, by using create index syntax, can you add an index on any column of your choice or not? Tell me. I want an index to be added on the category name column now. An index to be added. By default, index is not added on this column. Go and verify. Index is added only on primary key column. I want an index to be added on my name column also. Category name column now. I can use now. What? It'll add an index on this column. It'll add an index on this particular column also. I can tell to SQL Server everything what I want. Next. You can tell which column you want as a foreign key now. You can tell which column you want as a foreign key. See here, I'm just creating a column with the name as category ID. Now see, it is not matching with the parent primary key column name now. Yes or not? But now I can tell what I want. I can tell that this is my foreign key. This is my foreign key. How to apply, I'll show you. Because there's a little bit tricky here. How to apply when I'm writing the code, I'll show you. You can tell you what is your foreign key. I already said you this. I already said you. By default, are you getting an identity? Array, by default, identity is coming or not? ID. By default, ID has a identity now. Changing to original again. Yeah. I'm just changing all the things to original. And on this identity is applied now. I don't want. This is the default option here. That is the default option. What is that? Database generated option dot identity. No identity. You should only insert now. You should only insert. If you don't apply this, a default what is applied? Identity is applied. That's why yesterday we got identity. If you want to remove it, this is how you can remove it. It is like self-referencing things. See, in employee table, I have a MGR column. MGR column, manager ID. Array, the manager ID is going to be a value in the primary key column of the table now. Did you learn it or not? Self-reference. If you want to apply that, then we use this concept called as inverse property. Lastly, actually complex type. Actually, what I want to tell you is this is not available, guys. Not available in the sense this is available only in like Oracle, not available in SQL Server. Oracle has complex types. Oracle has complex type. What is the complex type? Complex type. Array, you know this a complex type here. Every class is a type now. Every class is a type. Scalar or complex? Complex. String is a scalar type. If I define employee, employee is a complex type. Under a table, you have a column. Department table is area. You have a column called as ID, name, location. Now I want to add a fourth column. Fourth column is employee column. The employee column should contain employee data in it, not employee ID in it. What it should contain? Employee data. Means 10, marketing. And under that, I want to store the number of employees working in that employee department now. With not only ID, I want to store everything. Then we'll create a complex type called as employee and add it to the table. We can store like that. Oracle supports. Oracle supports. SQL doesn't support this particular complex types actually. So that's why it doesn't make sense for us now because we are working with SQL Server. In case you're working with Oracle, this is going to be, this makes some sense there. Am I clear, all of you? Yes or not? Okay, like this, we can override all the existing conventions in this particular place. We can override all the existing conventions without depending on the without depending on the SQL, we can override all the conventions. Sorry, without depending on the existing conventions, we can override the conventions. So shall we try overriding the conventions now again? Let us try creating some new database and tables. One more example we'll try. And now we'll try to override all the default conventions and follow our own conventions for it now. I'm creating a new data. I'm dropping the database here if you want. Just not related with my example at all. Just unnecessary. I thought and dropped it. That's all. You don't require to drop it because now I'm going to create you a different database, not the same. Okay, let's follow the process. First step, I said you we can install from here also, right? Okay, today we'll try installing from here, but unnecessary time waste work. That's all. Package manager, go to browse, search for entity framework. The current latest version is 6.5.1. That only install when you're done from package manager console also, that only install. Again, asking it all this time waste work, simply package install -package entity framework will do. Okay, but you can do from here also. Yeah, entity framework is installed. You can just check in the solution explorer references. You can see the entity framework installed. కనిపించమని. Okay, so entity framework, you can just see entity framework dot SQL installed. What next? The next thing what you just have is you're required to go for creating all the model classes, defining all the domain classes, in other words. So I used a model called student, I think. No, supplier, guys. Supplier and customer. I taken two things here, supplier and customer. Model, class, supplier. I'm taking like supplier is a parent and customer is a child. Customer as a child. So not right, but I'm trying to apply a rule like this. What is that? One supplier can supply to multiple customers, but one customer can purchase only from one supplier. Not right here. But just like always not going with the same set of tables, I'm trying to create different set of tables to you. That's it. Like what is the rule I'm trying? Like the previous one only. One supplier can supply to multiple customers, but one customer can purchase only from one supplier. You can choose your supplier. Only that supplier will supply to you. Are you getting my point? Okay, something a rule like this. Okay, this is what. Now this is my thing. Now what I just wanted to do is, see right now, I want to define my own table name now. So let me start with the table annotation. The table annotation. But you require to import the namespace now. And that only will do here. Table. What is the name? Supplier. Imported, see. Imported. Okay, there is actually two namespaces I need. One is component model dot. One is annotations and data annotation dot schema. The second one. First one. Okay, now I want a property with the name called as SID. It is not matching with my default convention. It should be either ID or supplier ID, not matching. So I can tell this is my key. By default, it will be having identity, but I don't want identity now. Okay, what do you do? No identity on this column. No identity. You only should insert. Yesterday we did not insert. They're auto-generated. You should insert. Next, I want another property with the name called as supplier name. Supplier name. Okay, now I want this column to be having the name as yes name in my table. Yes name in my table. Are you clear? And what is the data type it is using here? Nvarchar. Nvarchar. No, I want varchar. I want varchar with a size of 100 or 50, whatever it is. Size can be set by using max length now. Are you clear? Okay. Watch this. Column. Yes, name. Type name. Varchar. I want the type as varchar now. Okay, now? And I can use max length and tell the maximum size of this. Clearer? Tell me fast. Understood all of you? Okay. So like this, I can just go for adding up the things now. I can specify. I'm adding only 2 columns, for example. Let me take another table now. What is the second table? Customer. Second table is customer. Let's add it. First, I want cust ID. I want, first table. Apply the table annotation. Table. What do you want? Customer only. Not customers. Take the name as customer. Now I want to add cust ID. Remember, I think I given the name as cust ID. Okay. First column is balance. What is the data type? Decimal question mark here. There it will take you decimal of 18,2. But I want money. What I want? Money. So I can tell now data type money. I can tell the data type as money. Data type money. If you don't tell the column name first, balance only will be the column. Suppose you want the column name as BAL. Then column name is BAL now. If I don't tell, column name is balance only. But type is money. Type is taken as money. And here I'm using a question mark to indicate it is It is a nullable column. By default, like not null, but I want it as nullable. Okay. Next, my second column is customer name. Okay, now, guys, I want to have it as a C name, not as customer name. I want to have it as C name, not as customer name. Okay, you can use a column and tell the name now. And I want to have the data type as varchar. Data type as varchar. Already we discussed the previous example. I want the length to be 50 characters. 50 characters. Max length. Max length now. Okay, now. By default, nullable or not null? Nullable. I want not null. I want not null. You know this here. You know this already. Required. Guys, by default, will SQL Server create an index on this column? No. It won't create. Why? Indexes are created only on primary keys columns only, not on other columns now. But I want. Want it? Yeah. See there. I applied index annotation, required annotation, max length annotation, column name annotation, and said that column name should be C name and data type should be varchar. So varchar of 50, and it is going to be a not null column. Why? Required is used. It's a not null column. Okay. Sir, primary key is missing. I'll give it here. I'll give it. With this, I hope you can understand this. I can use max length also. I can use string length also. Just to give you an idea, everything I'm showing one example on everything now. Column type, varchar, address, 1000 characters length. And then I have this. Clear? I'm clearly telling you my column name is cust ID. My key column is cust ID, not ID or customer ID. I want cust ID and none. I added this in middle now, but in the table you should find it in the first place. That's what I explained you all. That all I'm showing you. Whatever I explained, I'm showing you practically now. Okay. Next. Sir, primary key is missing. Foreign key is missing. Foreign key is missing. I want my foreign key column name as supplier ID. But that doesn't match us with the supplier table now. In the supplier table, it is SID. But here what you given? If you give SID, then no issue. But what you given is supplier ID. So I should tell. What I should tell? This is my foreign key. I said you how to tell. It's a tricky. How to tell? I'll tell you. I said you. Wait. We'll add it. Meanwhile, can you add me the navigation properties for relationships? This is one-to-one relationship, correct? So public supplier. Now coming to this table, for one supplier, multiple customers can be present. What to do? Public I collection customers. Public I collection customers. Error coming. Namespace is not imported, I think. That's all. Just copy paste here. It will resolve it. Cut paste. It imported of C. Understood? See, delete. You'll get error. Cut, paste. Import it. That's it. When generally when I copy paste anything from my notes onto this, automatically all are imported off now. When you're writing, you may explicitly do it. But because I'm copy pasting it, it imports automatically. Okay. But you know what namespaces. You know about that namespace. I don't require to tell you again here. This namespace should be imported for you. You basically know. These are in generics namespace. Okay. Something is missing. Foreign key is missing. How to tell the information of the foreign key? You can tell the information of the foreign key in two ways. Option 1. Write on the top of the foreign key column as foreign key And in the brackets, specify the navigation property name. Did you understand? So not column name. Why column name? You're on the top of the column only. Now, why to write column name there? What you require to write is navigation property name. Did you catch my point? Another way to do it is write it on the top of the navigation property. Write it on the top of the navigation property and specify the column name. Did you understand? If you write on the top of the navigation property, you're required to tell the foreign key name now. If you write on the top of the foreign key column, you're required to write the navigation property name now. So where am I writing now? On the top of the navigation property. So now I should tell the column name. So next example, we'll try in the reverse order. Next time we'll try in the reverse order. Now I tried it like setting the foreign key column for the table. What is the foreign key column? Customer ID. Okay now? Now open the web.config. Write down the connection string. Try writing in the bottom here. It should be after NT framework here. It should be after NT framework. That's what I'm telling you. Write it in the last. Okay? You know, writing connection string. I don't require to give you any explanation for it. And see the database name, what I'm planning for. I'm planning for a company DB database. So context class, company DB, context, company DB, context. But I given my own connection string name now. So I require to specify that in my constructor. I require to specify in my constructor. Yeah. Done. What next? Company. Hey, no restriction here. Just to Matt tomorrow to understand the database name, we give this name like this. You can give whatever name you want. Inheriting from DB context. It requires a namespace import now. Watch. Imported C. Okay. Next step. Base of honest here. Guys, do you want to apply any strategy or you want to go with the default strategy? If you want to go with the default strategy, leave it. If you want to apply a strategy, apply some strategy, whatever of your choice. Apply a strategy of your choice. But I applied drop create database always. I said you this only. Starting days, use this option so that you can make changes and you can see the changes immediately on the other side. Okay now? Drop create database always. Now, the DB set properties. Public DB set of suppliers. Public DB set of customers. And now the table names are not suppliers and customers. The table name is supplier customer. Can you create all the controllers and everything now? You can do it. I'm not showing you. But let me create the database. How do you create it, sir, without that? Yesterday I said you this point, remember? You do any one CRUD operation, it will create off. You do any one CRUD operation, it will create off now. So you add all the required controllers, views, and everything. Yesterday I clearly shown you all these things to you. Now add a supplier controller, customer controller, and design all the things now. But here, what I am doing right now is I will add you one controller. with the name as supplier controller. Guys, you write down all the action methods, everything in this, and also design the views. That is the task for you. Okay. But what I am showing you using MVC with F dot models, create the context class instance, company DB context DC is equals to new company DB context. Now come here and try to write some code to insert or update or delete or select whatever, anyone crud. Are you clear? To select, nothing is there. To update, nothing is there. To delete, nothing is there. What makes sense here? Insert. Insert only makes sense now. Correct? Watch. 4 supplier instances. Add. Save. Static code I'm writing off. Otherwise, you'll insert one by one record. Static code I've written off now. Okay, now after inserting, data inserted, can I fetch it? Can I fetch it? Okay, then here I'll do one thing. DC dot, it'll bring me the data back now. First insert is done here. Afterwards, DC dot suppliers will bring the data. Let us add a view and publish the data there. Publish the data there now. Using, sorry, at the rate model, IEnumerable, MVC with link to dot, models dot, supplier. Rest of the code is the same, just a table to generate it. Otherwise, I used a list option here, guys. Okay, I'll show you that. I did not use the templates not till now. I'm using only one template. What is that? Empty template. I used only empty template. Let's use the templates also. Right click, add view. MVC5 view. Choose a template now. What do you want? Perfect. Details. Wrong here. List here. Details means one record now. Forget already. Details is one record. List. Multiple. You understand English first. List. Listing all records now. Detail is only one record. List is what you require to choose. Model class. Supplier. But basically, key columns are never shown to you directly. Key columns, it won't show you the key columns. So that's it only for a supplier. Noticed? Make some changes here. Okay, run it first. Run it. We'll make the change. Run it. So what should happen? Database should be created. Table should be created. Data should be inserted. Correct or not? All these actions has to be completed of now. And while creating the database and tables, it should follow my rules. It should follow my rules, whatever I specified. Not view. Oh, we did not change the name. Sorry, guys. The name is not changed. It should be index now. It should be action method name is index. Yeah. See now I'm missing few things here. ID. Add it. Come on, let's make them changes now. dot yes side. Here, actions. It added all the 3 links also, see? Every day we are doing it, it is automatically doing it. Nothing here. What happened is, I refreshed. It called the index action method. You written static code. It is again inserting the 4 records. Your primary key violation came now. So now it won't come. Now it won't come. Why? I used a strategy called DropCreateDatabase. I used a strategy called as DropCreateDatabaseAlways. No problem won't come. If I try to refresh, error will come. If I stop it, error won't come. Okay now? You can continue with the rest of the things now. Edit details. Half work done already for you. Remaining only. For these also we can use templates. Try create template for add new. Try edit template for edit. Details template. Delete template. But try to make the changes accordingly. It may have a different layout and design. You're required to do it. Modify it according to your requirements. Okay, this is not the big deal. Actually, what we want to check is the database actually. Our requirement is check the database. Refresh, company DB, tables. Start with the table names. See, not customers and suppliers. What is it? Customer, supplier. A second. First supplier table, SID, S name. Varchar. Nullable. Why? You did not use required on that. So it is nullable. But first one is not null, primary key columns. Column names are changed or not? Columns are changed or not? And also you can see the data type also changed. Here, custody primary key. Supplier ID foreign key. Okay, balance money. Earlier it is decimal of 18,2 money. C name. And basically watch it. It's a not null column. Why? I applied required on it. Name is required. Next, address. Varchar of those. One more thing also. What is that? Index. Table name. Customer. Added you an indexing. It added you a index basically. Non-clustered, located on primary. That's not. It's a non-clustered index based on the CNAME column. Are you clear? It added your index on the foreign key also. Primary key will have an index, but now additionally it added you 2 more indexes, one on supplier and one on customer name. Customer name we explicitly asked. Customer name we explicitly asked to do it. Remaining or implicitly created, but for customer name I explicitly asked it. Did you get me? Understood changing the default conventions? Every convention that is prescribed can be modified. Every convention can be modified in this particular case now. Understood or not? So this is how it will help us. So by default, what we learned today? First thing about connection string I taught you. Next thing what I taught you is how to override the default code first conventions. How to override the default code first conventions. Okay. So next class I'll show you like this particular thing, like how to give default data. Default data into table. Some tables require default data now. parent master tables require the default data. How to provide the default data? Let's try to understand about that one. Okay, now, guys, just hold on. They want to take the feedback. Just hold on. They were just going to come in. Hold on just for a few minutes.
Yeah, good morning, one and all. So I'm from the management team. So the feedback link has been shared in the Google Classroom, 29, 30, 31, 32 batch. Okay, just kindly go and just share your feedback. The online students, just you can kindly response in the chat box. Just open the Google Classroom where the feedback link has been shared to you. Okay, just after finishing, just please kindly let me know in the chat box as done or completed. Okay, just it takes some 3 to 4 minutes. So make sure everyone share your feedback. Okay. So kindly go on and share your feedback. Just mention your mail ID. That's important. Okay.